The Development of Personal and Social Identity, Peers by Lucy Chambay and Maria. Peer groups over time. Media analysis. Peer groups have evolved steadily over time to encompass many roles due to the cultural acceptance of vulnerability, openness, and the acknowledgement of mental illnesses and toxic relationships. Peer groups have been able to provide solace from these problems and give the individual a safe space to express their troubles in a constructive and healthy way. Throughout media, coming-of-age stories involving peer groups have been a quintessential part of the teen experience and often enforce stereotypical and romanticized outlooks on the world that influence our own expectations of peer relationships. Peer groups of the past. Media analysis. In the past, this burden was often carried by the individual. Their peers act as less of an outlet and more of a group that indulges in unhealthy coping mechanisms that contribute to the difficulties. This peer mentality can be found throughout a lot of media aimed at teenagers, particularly from the 90s, early 2000s, where escapism was at its peak, due to various economic, political, and social corruptions occurring around the world. Peer groups of the present. Media analysis. In recent years, this perspective has changed as we are now able to recognize the toxicity in these relationships and seek more meaningful and fulfilling connections. For the younger generations, they have approached these issues in a way that does not directly promote unhealthy coping mechanisms. Because of this change, peer-focused media has also discussed these societal issues and portrayed accurate relationships between POC, LGBT, and white youths. Influences in peer groups. Peer influence is when you choose to do something you wouldn't usually do, because you want to feel accepted and valued by your friends. This can have a positive and negative outcome. Peer influence can be natural and healthy. Peers can be positive and supportive. They can offer assistance for an individual, influencing them to do something positive or growth building, such as creating new skills, providing new ideas, and introducing positive hobbies, overall being a positive impact on the individual. Simply, peers who are kind, loyal, supportive, and follow positive behaviors influence others to be the same. Peer influence also can switch to negative peer pressure. Negative peer pressure means that the individual can easily adopt dangerous habits, such as taking part in something they are not comfortable with or just do not want to do, but they end up following these habits because they are so-called friends. Therefore, someone who likes taking part in dangerous behaviors will try influence their negative values on others. Autonomy and peer groups. Peer groups are often the first instance in which individuals are able to have an element of autonomy in who they choose to surround themselves with and how they act within these networks. Before children begin school, their world doesn't extend far beyond their family. Parents chose what children do and who they see, and are often by the child's side when they socialize with others. Once an individual reaches school age, they are left in a new environment with new people and without their parents, and as they grow older, the way they behave around their peers and their parents becomes increasingly different. Through this process, individuals are able to realize who they are outside of their role within their family and have the capacity to choose who they surround themselves with. The end.